Happy week starts, televiewers of My Media Prime Television. It's a new week and we are here full of energy to keep you throughout the week. It's your favorite bilingual program, The Brief, which is dedicated to the review of striking headlines in the papers. And today the papers this morning are focusing on the kidnap of 6 divisional delegates, Indian division of the southwest region of the country, with one already slaughtered by the armed men believed to be Ambazonia fighters in that part of the country. We shall equally talked about the 106 billion francs CFA loan that has been granted to the government of Cameroon by the African Development Bank, and a memorandum of understanding was signed recently by the Minister of the Economy, Planning and Regional Development, Alame Ousmane May, representing the government of Cameroon, and the Regional Director of the African Development Bank for Central Africa. That was in Yaoundé, the political capital of Cameroon. Thank you for joining us. Audrey Zaksa is around as usual to read the headlines in the French language. Bonjour Audrey.
Bonjour Lasha Kingsley, excellent début de semaine à vous, fidèles téléspectateurs, et merci de nous rejoindre. Plusieurs sujets meublent la presse francophone ce matin, et débutons tout de suite avec le journal La Capitale Publique, Cameroun Tribune, qui parle des passeports et de délivrance de nouveaux passeports, les nouvelles conditions d'après le journal, les modalités de délivrance de ces documents de voyage définis par le décret présidentiel de jeudi dernier ont été modifiés. Ce changement, qui introduit notamment l'enregistrement en ligne, vise à réduire les tracasseries des usagers à leur plus simple expression et à renforcer la sécurisation du circuit. Vous aurez donc plus de détails à la page 2 de Cameroun Tribune ce matin. Mutation pour sa part parle de certaines personnalités enlevées puis décapitées. Johnson Mabia Modika, le délégué du Minepat dans le département du Ndian, a été tué par ses ravisseurs. Les autres délégués départementaux kidnappés, toujours introuvables. Vous aurez plus à la page 5 du journal Mutation. Le Messager pour sa part parle de pénurie de riz et le Cameroun au bord de l'hécatombe, d'après le journal, avec une production nationale de 300 000 tonnes, le pays ne peut répondre à la demande de 600 000 tonnes. Le plan de survie du groupement des importateurs de riz du Cameroun, c'est à lire dans la page 5 du journal Le Messager. Le même journal parle également du drame survenu à Tchanga, la falaise, et c'était donc ce week-end. Vous aurez plus de détails à la page 10 de Le Messager. Terminons avec le journal bleu de Aman Mana, Le Jour, qui parle de Covid-19, vaccination intensive du 7 au 11 juillet. Voilà, mesdames, messieurs, pour les tabloïds en français. Place à toi, Lasha Kingsley, en anglais.
Thank you, Audrey Zaksa. Let's kickstart this morning with the Post newspaper. The Post this morning, which is of course interested in the loan granted the government of Cameroon by the African Development Bank. We are told by the paper that African Development Bank loans Cameroon CFA 106 billion for work to commence along the Bamenda Ring Road in the country. The paper says the African Development Bank, ADB, has loaned Cameroon CFA 106 billion for the construction of the pending Bamenda Ring Road, National Route number 11, linking Cameroon to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This was during the signing ceremony of the loan agreement relating to the funding of the third phase of the transport sector support program, Ring Road, and the construction project, with main signatories being the Minister of the Economy, Planning and Regional Development of Cameroon, Alame Ousmane May, and the African Development Bank Director General for Central African, Serge Ngusang. You can get more details in this edition of the Post newspaper relating to the loan agreement which was signed in Yaoundé recently by the government of Cameroon and African Development Bank. Let's talk talk about hate speech, campaign against hate speech. We are told that the Bilingualism Commission cries anti-hate speech or carries anti-hate speech campaign to Bamenda, chief town of the northwest region of Cameroon. We are on to Watchdog Tribune, which is also interested in the campaign carried or being championed by the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism in the country. The paper says as NCPBM pushes on for peace, nationwide or peace and national unity, heavy jail terms, fines await perpetrators of hate speech and xenophobia in the country. More details about the campaign being championed by the Peter Mafani Musonge-led commission only in this edition of Watchdog Tribune. The Watchdog Tribune equally took interest in the loan granted to the government of Cameroon by the African Development Bank. The signature to that loan or the agreement was signed recently in Yaoundé by the Minister of the Economy, Planning and Regional Development, Alame Ousmane Mey, signing for the government of Cameroon, and the regional director for the African Development Bank, Serge Ngusang, as we are told by Watchdog Tribune newspaper. The loan, which is 106 billion francs CFA, will be used in the financing of the Bamenda Ring Road, which link the country to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Guardian Post newspaper, on its part, is interested in the kidnapping of 6 divisional delegates in Dian Division of the Southwest region of Cameroon. The paper says widespread condemnation as kidnapped divisional delegates slaughtered, calls multiply for immediate release of 5 others still in captivity. You can get more details about how the divisional delegate for the economy, planning, regional development was slaughtered by his captors only in this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. The paper also took interest in the 106 billion francs CFA African Development Bank loan to complete Ring Road. The Ring Road project, the loan will go to finance the 3rd phase of the Bamenda Ring Road, which links the country to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Alame Ousmane, the Minister of the Economy, Planning and Regional Development of Cameroon, signed on behalf of the country recently in Yaoundé, and the Regional Director for the African Development Bank, representing the said institution, signed on behalf of that institution. That was in Yaoundé recently. We end with the Chronicle Times newspaper, which is very hard this time around on the separatist fighters. We are told that the 6 divisional delegates who were kidnapped in Dian Division, the paper says blood-sucking Ambazonia IG claims responsibility over the kidnap and the slaughtering of one of the 6 regional delegates or divisional delegates in Dian Division of the Southwest region of the country. More details about what the Chronicle Times newspaper thinks or analysis concerning the kidnap of the said divisional delegates. The paper also goes ahead to say the terrorist gang Ambazonia interim government IG that had long been uncovered as a cult feeding on human blood and trafficking in human body parts. Rightly, that's a group have rightly said so, should be investigated, and the paper equally say more of those accomplices hiding in the diaspora will soon be exposed, as we are told that some Amazonians are being indicted in the United States of America for trafficking or for illegally trafficking arms into the northwest and the southwest regions of the country. Thank you for watching, televiewers. We are back in the studio to continue digging several layers beneath the major headlines we have. And this morning we decided to bring on board human rights defenders. We are talking about Tante, Mr. Tante Amadou, who is representing an NGO which is interested in the rights of the minority or the less privileged in the society, especially in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, sir, and thank you very much for for giving me what the audience wants more. So it's really a pleasure for me to always be in on this special program.
Okay, we just reading sadly over the weekend, one of the 6 divisional delegates that were kidnapped by armed men believed to be Ambazonian fighters was slaughtered recently. As a human rights defender, what do you have to say to such gruesome murder?
Well, actually, such gruesome murder is really unacceptable. So we don't understand why these people would have to commit such gruesome crimes which are gross human rights violation. Normally, I don't even understand why the people were kidnapped in the first place, because these are civilians. These are not security forces.
You say they are blacklegs. They are
no,
working
what's the
for
meaning
the
of
government
blacklegs?
of Cameroon.
The issue is that somebody who might consider as blackleg someone who is directly involved in the hostility, but these are civilians who are not involved in the hostility and should be protected by all means. We don't understand why people allow the security or defense and security forces whom they are supposed to be fighting with and concentrate on civilians, kidnapping civilians. Sometimes we hear that they have kidnapped civilians. And this one, initially, the SGO said they were kidnapped for ransom. But later on, we had another version of the story that the news about the kidnap for ransom was fake. That it was produced by a fabrication by the SGO. Because so we received a voice note claiming that the separatist fighters have said that they'll set example on those who have been arrested, that they are not the one that are demanding for ransom. That is the other one was just fabrication from the SGO. Yes.
So it means that some of the local administrative authorities, they are working to impede peace. They are working to tarnish the image of the government. What is happening is that an SDO will fabricate stories to get over 61 million francs CFA for something which is not supposed to be that.
Well, to the best of my understanding, I know that we cannot predict, we cannot conclude whether it was the SEO that is right for what he said, or it says the voice note that we received that is right. Because I think from there was the security, the person who is commanding this Ambazonia, the head of their security. I saw something of this. No, that's on the person who is abroad.
Okay.
Yes, I saw something on his.
Sako Ekome.
So we saw from this person in charge of security. I don't forget his name. Something like Nilong Paul, something like that.
Okay.
So I saw on his post, he was like claiming that even the audio was not from the Ambazonian Defense Forces. Those meaning that maybe they are what they were demanding, but obviously meaning that what the Israel was saying might have been right. So what I don't understand about this issue is that when acts like this are being committed, we hardly see this Ambazonian leaders condemn such acts. So meaning that they are the ones that are asking people to bring this.
We are at war.
That's we are at war. Yes, it's true. We are at war, but according to international humanitarian law, there are some certain things that need not to be done. But why are these people doing such things? You go and captivate people as civilians like this. What image are you giving to Cameroonians? Despite everything like that, we are at war, but everything has limitations. Well, this is not everything that we have to do. Maybe because we are at war, they should know. They are supposed to know that after this war, everybody is supposed to be prosecuted for whatever he or she is doing now. Maybe they may be protected now because the war is still going on, but at the end of the war, each and everyone will be answerable to his acts that committed in the war.
Des crimes sur ces personnalités travaillant pour le gouvernement ne cessent de se répéter. Est-ce qu'il n'est pas peut-être temps que la sécurité autour de ces personnes-là soit un peu plus renforcée?
What you are saying is very, very important. What I don't understand
for the moment.
Actually, what I don't understand about what this issue of kidnap about 6 divisional delegates. I don't understand. Nothing has been said concerning the security, because I don't understand how 6 security divisional delegates could be moving around, going to bushy area where they said they were on land demarcation for a new and others, go to such area without security. But nothing has been said to that effect since then. But meanwhile, when you are in the field, even if it's one divisional delegate you see going somewhere, you must see the divisional delegate with the security officials guarding him. So we don't understand what is behind this.
They might have overpowered the security.
But obviously, that may be what has happened. But the SEO or any other person who has spoken to that effect has not said anything concerning security. So we don't understand what really is happening. There have been silence on that issue, so we don't understand what is really.
So are you telling me that probably because you are investigating, you are equally you are a human rights defender? Are you telling me that there are some people within the government circles that are doing everything to tarnish or rubbish the efforts of Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph Jemgute in resolving the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions?
I think I initially said here in our last program that there are war entrepreneurs who are doing everything for people who are enriching themselves as a result of this war. So this group of people are doing everything possible to maintain the status quo so that they can continue reaping from what they are reaping as a result of this armed conflict. So when something happens, instead of telling people exactly what happened, they try to divert the attention of the people, try to go turn around, try to divert attention to instead to different direction so that maybe the people can to silence the people and confuse them so that they will not see exactly what is happening. Because we still await a report from a government official to tell us exactly about the security of these people. Because the government is doing.
Where is the governor of the Southwest region? Where is Mr. Bernardo Calea-Villar?
That is why we don't know. And
the chief executive officer for the Southwest region. He has not uttered even a word.
No, we are maybe he had a lot of time to do that. We are still waiting, even though those people are still in captivity. One of the messages I will pass here is that we are actually praying for the armed separatists to do everything possible to release all those who have been arrested without any precondition. To release them, they don't have any right to who these people have captives. At least they should go for the defense and security forces.
They say the supply they are giving from some of what we read from the newspaper that they are tapping information and giving to the government. That's why sometimes you find camps being, raided by the army.
No, well, for that I cannot say, but everything. What I made it very clear is that whatsoever act you are doing, you have to pay for that. You have to be answerable to that after the war.
Mais justement, ces personnes-là qui commettent tous ces actes, mais je ne sais pas qu'est-ce qu'il y a lieu de faire, parce que est-ce qu'on résout la violence par la violence?
Actually, no, violence cannot be fighting for. We cannot be fighting for injustice with injustice. So that's why if we make it's making things very difficult for us to come out of the crisis. Because when you are just, they say that he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. You cannot be claiming that you are fighting for injustice and you go ahead and begin to slaughter people and do all sort of things, kidnap people for ransom and do all this type of thing. We are really against all such acts. Such acts are against international norms. So we are praying that all these people should be released and all such acts should stop. So that we should do everything possible to look for ways of resolving this issue at hand.
Et demain, disons, je dis n'importe quoi, demain quand on parlera d'un autre dialogue, est-ce que vous pensez que ces personnes-là même pourront venir devant le gouvernement pour, n'est-ce pas, dire quelque chose?
Well, it is very possible. So no matter what is happening, we continue to pray that the government could do everything possible to call for dialogue with the armed separatists so that they can sit down and sort whatsoever is happening out. Whatever they are doing now, in fact, in no way can prevent them from sitting down with the government to dialogue. Because what we want is peace. It's the peace and security of Cameroon that matters. In fact, the government is the protector of the national sovereignty. So that is why we are praying that the aim of the government normally is supposed to protect the people. So even though they are claiming that they are protecting the people, but to an extent, that's not what is happening. Because this issue of kidnap is not only armed separatists who are doing it. I come from a division like in Babisi division, sub-division. So where the defense forces, the commander of that brigade, he's doing everything possible. If you ask from anybody who is resident in that area, they are virtually every day they are illegally arresting people and detaining them for ransom. In that sub-division, we have been talking with Mr. Jang Timi, who is the commander of Babisi brigade, and all the 40 villages that make of this subdivision every day. Hardly one day pass when we have not heard that.
So they are grossly abusing the rights.
Right, but this one is not.
What did the common man do? What actually did the common man do in the northwest and south?
That is why someone said that when two elephants are fighting, the grass that suffers. So the civilians are the ones that are suffering the consequences of all this. We can't say that they are a set of armed separatists, but they go around arresting innocent civilians and taking them to their camp, asking for ransom. And people pay ransom before they leave that place. The man is there and he's doing everything possible. Today we hear that he was in Bangalore. Tomorrow we hear that he was in Baba doing the same thing. The other day in Bangalore and others. So how are we going to come out of this crisis when we have war entrepreneurs like this who are making huge sums of money from the crisis?
Okay. Parce que justement, si ce ne sont pas les membres du gouvernement qui sont kidnappés, c'est les civils, les innocents.
Les innocents, that's what we are against. So all those things, the civilians are actually suffering. I can bring just another example here. Last time, I think it was early February, the security and defense forces went to Bamuka, a village in the central subdivision, and closed a mini market that was operating there, citing the fact that armed separatists were collecting dues from those who are selling in that market. The armed separatists on their part came to the central market. They blocked, they indefinitely stopped people from selling at the central market for more than 3 months. Some of these things are underreported, meaning many people are not aware of what is going on. So the people, it's just recent, just last month that they opened the market. Since February, the main market was closed down. It just imagine the pains the civilians are going through. So it's not easy. Some of these things we are praying that the government should do everything possible, no matter whatsoever is happening, and call this party to dialogue them so that they can sort solution in an inclusive dialogue and sort this problem out so that we can come out of this crisis, because our civilian, our people in these regions are actually suffering as a result of this crisis.
Okay, let's end rapidly with this loan that the government of Cameroon has secured. An agreement to that loan was signed in Yaoundé by the Minister of the Economy, Planning and Regional Development, 106 billion for the commencement of work at the Bamenda Ring Road, a road which links the Republic of Cameroon to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And the loan is coming to finance the third phase of the said project, Emanetante. You happen to come from that area, myself likewise, from that area, and that route has been there for a very long time, and we are hearing that another loan has been secured. The previous loans were meant for feasibility studies and other works along the route. So what do you have to say? Recently we had the Minister of Public Works, Emmanuel Nganou Djumisi, saying that security reasons contribute to the slow pace of execution works at the Babajou-Bamenda stretch of route. Does it mean now that the security has come back to normal for the route to go on, or what? Quite a contradiction from Nganou Djumisi.
What was not here, first of all, is that the Emmanuel Nganou Djumisi first of all said that the problem was insecurity. Now they are talking about budget, the budget they need now to complete the route. He never even told us that the issue was a financial problem. They said that it was insecurity. So it means that the minister himself contradicted himself. So that is why we know that our government, they are ruling us with lies telling. I don't know if lies telling is another modern form of administration or governance.
How are they going to construct the ring road now with the current situation? We heard recently, we saw, all of us saw the videos of one of the dreaded Ambazonian generals who came to Bambili. From Bambili, he was at Bamali, and that route happens to be where the minister is telling us that they have secured the 106 billion. So how are they going to do it with the current situation?
So if you depend only on the government on your information, because normally the government, they have told on several occasions that the security is stable. So there's no call for alarm. So why now do we try to use the issue of insecurity to defend themselves why the road has not been touched now? Because we are defending on their information, they said that the road, in fact, there's no call for alarm. But what we are seeing on the field is not what the government is saying. So let the government do everything.
So sincerity, that the ring road is more secure than the Babajou-Bamenda stretch of route.
According to them, maybe
security situation there.
Maybe according to them, the ring road is more secure than the Bamenda this thing. But what we want, everything one is that they should do everything possible to touch this road as fast as possible, so as to end the sufferings of the population. When the road is as bad as like that, you cannot be someone who is sick cannot enter the vehicle and pass through that stretch of road. Or when it is like these vehicles and all, they have a lot of negative things that are coming as a result of this, and it's giving people a very bad impression about the current situation, because the people are fighting for marginalization. At the same time, the government is giving them fake promises, telling them they'll do this, telling them to do that. The road is bad, and it's not even possible to leave the west region and enter to the northwest region without having a lot of hitches because as a result of the poor nature of the route.
Okay, thank you, sir. We are almost at the end of the program, Audrey.
Oui, effectivement, si tu veux bien.
No, thank you so much for coming, sir. Thank you. We hope to have you some other time. We hope that you keep doing the job that you are doing to impact the lives of common man or Cameroonians who are suffering, whose rights are being grossly violated by both the government and or government forces and the Ambazonian over there in the northwest and southwest regions.
No, thank you very much. It's really a pleasure for me to be a guest on your program.
Okay, televiewers, on this note that we've come to the end of today's program, the very first edition of the week. Hopefully we will be with you tomorrow for yet another edition of what the papers must have written concerning major events in the country. Audrey Zaksa and myself did the presentation, and the production was done by Christian Tebon. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.